Shalom, shalom and welcome. Welcome to the White Roads Family Channel. If you're tuning in for the first time, my name is Symmanayah. And these are the words I'm compelled to present before an awakening nation. In this series, the Final Exodus Countdown 2023, I speak of things that are necessary for fulfilling the final Exodus, the time that is most widely anticipated by those drawn by the Almighty Father to Yahusha Mashyach, the time where the 400 years, our 400 years ends, and we begin our trek or journey to the promised land, those who have been chosen by the Almighty Father according to fulfill His words, His promise to a set-apart nation. In this installment of the Final Exodus Countdown 2023, I want to bring your attention to Journey of the Seed. You see, my brothers and sisters, there are details and processes. There are things that are of most importance in these final days to fulfill end-time prophecies. But before I continue, let me say this. The views and messages expressed do not necessarily reflect the views of the owners, management, shareholders, and or sponsors of this media platform. With that said, let's get started. This segment, Journey of the Seed. My brothers and sisters, many of us have not given thought to what our forefathers went through in order for the message of set-apartness to reach us in a chronological sequence. Many of us don't realize what it took and what it takes to preserve the seed of set-apartness. Balance is needed, my brothers and sisters. Regarding history, now, and our future, balance is needed. The value of time is of grave importance. How many of us can actually say or quantify, or should I say measure, how long it takes to forge relationships with one another? Relationships that are strong and tight. How many of us are able to discern that with each passing day, if we encounter one another, we have the possibility and ability to grow closer to one another? This takes work, communication, it takes forgiving, it takes judging, it takes much, O Yashar'al, all for the purposes of preserving the seed, recognizing journey of the seed. Come with me, my brothers and sisters, as I continue. Do you not have questions? Do you know where, when, how, or what is expected of you? Yes, you, the one in the mirror. Do you know who, where, when, how, and what is expected of Yashar'al? You see, my brothers and sisters, there are details, there are processes. Many of us are caught up into the history, and we use the justification, if you don't know your history, it's hard to determine where you're going. There's a limit, my brothers and sisters. There's a limitation of how much of our history we are to consume and be mindful of. You see, in times past, there was wickedness as well. In times past, there was deceit in teachings as well. We cannot go by because this book is older than the other book, or these letters or these writings are older than the other writings, that ensures that they are more correct than the writings of today. Many people will argue that point, but I say to you, O Yashar'al, it is even stated in the scriptures that there are some things that are not said, that it's not enough pages to contain all that had transpired in the past. What that is saying, my brothers and sisters, let's see if I can find it. Bear with me, my brothers and sisters. I may be able to find it. I think it used the word contain. It might be this one here. Let's go here. Come with me to John 21:25. Better yet, let's read 24 and 25. Here we see Yahusha talking, and it says, and John writing, Yahusha said to him, I'm going to start with the 22nd verse. Yahusha said to him, if I wish him to remain till I come, what is that to you? You follow me. Therefore, this word went out among the brothers that this taught one would not die. However, Yahusha did not say to him that he would not die. But if I desire him to remain until I come, what is it to you? Here we see where he was misquoted. And he's repeating what Yahusha said. And John goes on to say, this is the taught one who bears witness about these matters and wrote these matters. And we know that his witness is true. 25th verse. Now there is much else that Yahusha did. If every one of them were written down, I think that the world itself would not contain the written books. My point in bringing this up, Yashar'al, the point I'm trying to make is everything is not written in the scriptures. There's so much that have been done to preserve the seed of righteousness. The seed of righteousness which comes from Yahusha HaMashyach, which comes from the Almighty Father presenting his word, his physical word before us in the person of Yahusha. It comes from the Almighty Father presenting and demonstrating set apartness through his word manifest before us, through the sacrifice, through the resurrection, through the sending of his spirit in Yahusha's name, as it's mentioned in John 14:26. My brothers and sisters, this seed took a journey. And I'm saying this to say, chasing all the history books, looking at everything in the past, trying to figure out what was first and what it used to be. And so much has occurred, Yashar'al, over the years that trying to just chase history, we will find ourselves spending too much time looking back. Journey of the seed requires discipline, knowing what things we are to guard and pass from generation to generation, and what things we are not to be focused on. Let me continue, O Yashar'al, and it is my prayer that expectations build, expectations that lead to improved actions as we navigate through these uncertain times, during this pandemic, during climate change and global warming, during civil unrest, during wars, rumors of wars, during fightings and more fightings. We will learn how to navigate, and that requires knowing what to do, when, and how. You see, Yashar'al, the time of final decisions are among us this day. For one day, O Yashar'al, one day, we will discover that always looking back is not wise. So what will your words be in the coming days, in your final hour, in your final minute? Would you echo the words, I wish that I would have, I should have, I am glad that I did? By discerning the guidance from the voice of the Spirit of Yahuwah, sent in Yahusha's name, we will learn how to manage our curiosities and distractions. It's time to choose, Yashar'al. It's time to choose how we govern ourselves, how we manage these earthen vessels. Do you not know there have been many sacrifices for Yashar'al? Our forefathers have died, pushing set apartness to preserve the teachings of Yahuwah. Sent in Yahusha's name by the Spirit of Yahusha working within them, our forefathers endured much as a result of our rebellion and disobedience, the suffering that have taken place. Trying and desiring to learn everything that they went through is not necessary. There's so much ahead of us. There's so much work to be done to forge a relationship that's so tight, so tight that it resembles the will of Ezekiel, so tight that it resembles a structure where there's protection, there's teaching, there's guarding, there's fellowship, there's joy, but there's also the strength to endure the pain that leads to a refined, set-apart nation. Many sacrifices have been made. For someone to keep bringing you, I got this book, it was written 1600, 1500. Well, I trumped that. This one was written 1400. I got some writings. My brothers and sisters, journey of the seed. If our forefathers spent more time talking about their past or telling their story, how much time do you think is to discuss what is applicable to now and what we must do going forward? In the wake of these sacrifices, it's time to wake up. Know how much and what history must be brought to light. If you are following a community head, a pastor, a teacher, a deacon, a moray, a spiritual influencer, and they're spending more time talking about what we did yesterday, who we were yesterday, if they're spending more time on history and failure to identify and discern what the Spirit of Yahuah is saying in Yahusha's name for now and for going forward, how can you expect the final exodus if your head is bent to the back, too far to the left, too far to the right? Yashar'al, oh Yashar'al, know how the seed was preserved and know the charge for us to preserve the seed of set apartness. Come with me, my brothers and sisters. I want you to know there will be times to move and times to be still. Anyone who talk about leaving Babylon before the physical return of Yahusha Mashyach, they must know that that requires movement. They must know that there will be times of resting. They must know that we must preserve the seed in whatsoever state we are in. If there's earthquakes and tsunamis, we must not forget the plan of Yahuah. If there are storms, if there are wildfires, if there are pandemics, if there's famine and pestilence, we must not forget the journey of the seed, the things that must be preserved. Yashar'al, oh Yashar'al, how can you speak of a final exodus without discussing details regarding the movement? When to move, with whom, how, who has the resources, or what resources has the Almighty Father presented before some? See, some of us will leave with just the clothes on our back as we journey, and some of us will have supplies and resources, and there will be times to ration, and there will be times of plenty. Yashar'al, oh Yashar'al, journey of the seed. It's easy to mention those words, but are you prepared with the details and processes for preserving that seed of set apartness? Let me read Jeremiah 23, 3-4. Come with me, O Yashar'al. It reads, therefore I shall gather the remnant of my flock out of all the lands where I have driven them, and shall bring them back to their fold, and they shall bear and increase, and I shall raise up shepherds over them, and they shall feed them. Are you not aware? So many people say, I'm not worried, y'all gonna take care of me, y'all gonna take care of me, but they don't talk about the details. They don't talk about that Yahuah, the Almighty Father, in Yahusha's name. The words come alive where he say he will raise up shepherds over us. Are you one of the shepherds? Are you one of the flock? Is it an intermittent action? Who are the chosen leaders? Soon and very soon they will rise up, O Yashar'al. As the seed journey back to the promised land, it will be preserved. We will learn to turn and establish our focus on the Almighty Father. Let me also read Ezekiel 11:17. It says, therefore say, thus saith the Master Yahuah, I shall gather you from the peoples, and I shall assemble you from the lands where you have been scattered, and I shall give you the land of Yashar'al. This requires movement, my brothers and sisters. We are that generation. Soon and very soon, movement will become clear. What does it take, O Yashar'al, for you to recognize the time to begin your journey in the direction of the promised land is now. What does it take? How many wildfires and how large must they get before you realize you must leave? How many earthquakes? How many tsunamis? How many hurricanes? How much destruction must there be among you? Now, I have mentioned on many occasions that I believe I am charged to contribute towards the gathering of Yashar'al, to provide direction and the coming together for those of the Western Hemisphere. And I have said on many occasions that I believe it will be in the state of Virginia, the Commonwealth of Virginia. Where are the questions? Where are the desires to learn, to identify, to discern what you must do? Now, some, yes, will be left behind. Some, yes, will die in the midst of destruction, pandemic, earthquakes, and diseases. And there will be those who survive. My message is to the set-apart children of Yashar'al, those who are outside of that court, those who are not set apart, drawn by the Almighty Father. It is not my concern to control, to influence, or to attack their position. They have their appointed times of what they're supposed to do. My words are to you who are drawn by the Almighty Father. Consider what is needed to fulfill end-time prophecies. You may not, we may not, I may not know everything, but there are some things that the Almighty Father is presenting to wake us up, to refine us, to discipline us, to prepare us for this journey. My brothers and sisters, there are specific things needed to preserve the seed. I just want to read the following, my brothers and sisters. Consider these words. Psalm 12:7 says, "You guard them, O Yahuah, you preserve them from this generation forever." To preserve the seed requires understanding how to vet, how to keep out untrue and wicked interpretations of scriptures, how to guard against misled teachings, how to hold on to and magnify what is set apart. And this will prove to be connected to the seed of set apartness, the seed of Yahuah, his word working in us, through us, one towards another. Lamentations 5:19 says, "You, O Yahuah, remain forever, your throne from generation to generation." We must understand and identify the characteristics of the throne of the Almighty Father. Pass the information on from generation to generation. Are we not aware that it reached us not just straight from the Almighty Father's Spirit coming to us, but through the Almighty Father's Spirit working in those that are His? Thus, we working in us, through us, one towards another, just as our forefather who guarded the seed, who carried the seed of set apartness, the teachings of the Almighty Father. We must understand the vitality and the journey of the seed, my brothers and sisters. Luke 1:50 says, "And its compassion is from generation to generation to those who fear him." Are we not aware that the fear of Yahuah is the beginning of knowledge? Fools despise wisdom and discipline, as written in Proverbs. Yashar'al, my brothers and sisters, it would be wise to walk in wisdom. Walk in wisdom, lest you find yourself on a journey that have taken you off the path of set apartness. Journey of the seed. Consider these words from Colossians 4:5. Walk in wisdom to those who are outside, redeeming the time. Keep in mind, my brothers and sisters, there are those who have made many sacrifices to preserve the seed. You think they made the sacrifices for us to just keep telling their individual stories? The seed of those of one body, the children of Yahuah, both Hebrews, which could also be called Abraham, and Gentiles, which means other nations, or Goyim, who are drawn by Abba Yahuah to Yahusha Mashyach, made one by Yahusha. My brothers and sisters, we must know what narratives, what instructions are critical in these final days to press and navigate through these uncertain times. Yashar'al, O Yashar'al, let us discern our duties regarding journey of the seed. What is the responsibility? What must we do? It's time, my brothers and sisters, to recognize that. To recognize what it is that must and will come to be. At least we find ourselves kicking against the orders, the tasks from the Almighty Father. Are you prepared? Are you prepared and disciplined for fulfilling your duties? Some of us will die before the physical return. Some of us will witness that final exodus and find ourselves in the footprint of destruction that is to come. But notice our spirit goes to Yahuah. Therefore, we are not left behind. Those who have died, physically faced physical death, are not left behind. The scripture says none will be left behind. This is letting you know that our spirit, which is that which will live forever with Yahuah through Yahusha Mashyach, will live forever. When we die, the body go back to the earth, but our spirit go to that place where Yahuah has established. Are you prepared and disciplined to fulfill your final day task? Yashar'al, oh Yashar'al, do you know how to identify? And I see that's misspelled. I'm going to take a moment to correct that. Bear with me, my brothers and sisters. How to identify set apart actions. Bear with me a minute, my brothers and sisters. This journey is real. Though my messages may seem redundant, I say to you, O Yashar'al, a siren, a warning, repeats itself till it's no longer needed, till it's no longer necessary. What say you, my brothers and sisters? Are you just being entertained? Entertained by those who just constantly repeat scriptures? Okay, I got it fixed. Yashar'al, my brother, my sister, my family. This journey is real. Do you know how to identify representatives of the seed? Or are you just witnessing individuals that's just reading scriptures over and over, that's just trying to entertain, more so trying to lift themselves up, more so reflecting their ego, who fail to understand the importance of lifting up Yahusha Mashyach? You see, as it is written in John 12:32, if Yahusha is lifted up, it is he who draw all men. And I say, when we look at the seed of set apartness, the seed that brought about life through the sacrifice and resurrection by the Almighty Father Yahuah, when we look at the destination, the path regarding journey of the seed, it is magnified, perfected, and refined by the guidance, by the teachings of the Almighty Father in Yahushua's name, working in us, through us, one towards another. We must know how to identify he who is the Almighty One. Yashar'al, Yashar'al, keep in mind, preservation and endurance is a necessity. I want to bring your attention to 2 Timothy chapter 2, verse 12. 2 Timothy chapter 2, verse 12. For it reads, if we endure, we shall also reign with him. If we deny him, he also shall deny us. Can we identify the workings of the Spirit of Yahusha working in us each day, working through us one towards another? Are we able to see and discern? Hear, O Yashar'al, commonly known as Israel, we must understand the importance of what is necessary regarding journey of the seed. Are you ready? What is your contribution? The time is now. The time is now to discern, my brothers and sisters, to discern the need for balance regarding journey of the seed. Hebrews chapter 12, verse 7 reads, if you endure discipline, the Almighty One is treating you as sons. For what son is there whom a father does not discipline? Discipline is necessary regarding journey of the seed for the perfecting of the body of Yashar'al. Consider 1 Peter chapter 2, verse 20. 1 Peter chapter 2, verse 20. For what credit is there in enduring a beating when you sin? But if you suffer for doing good, and if you endure, this finds favor with the Almighty One. My brothers and sisters, that suffering is the result of judgment beginning at the house of Yahuah. That suffering is the sacrifice. That suffering is the pain of coming away from habits that are not set apart and yielding and moving into things that are set apart and correct. Yashar'al, oh Yashar'al. Timing is a critical factor. Legacy building, set apart teachings and demonstration, not just talking about, but doing it. What are your teachers, community heads, deacons, leaders, spiritual influence? What are they teaching you? If you are one of them, what are you teaching your flock? Are you teaching them how to discern the voice of the Almighty Father Yahuah in Yahusha's name? Are you teaching them how to examine what is true in order to preserve the seed of set apartness? I ask you, as I ask often, are you satisfied with your community head? Are you satisfied with your leader, your moray, your teacher, your deacon, your bishop? Are they providing you with what's necessary for you to press into what the Almighty Father is calling you to do during these final days? Or is your time spent more so in being entertained by such leaders that seek to magnify their own ego, their own accomplishments? Timing, legacy building, set apart teachings and demonstrations as required and ordered by the Almighty Father is critical for journey of the seed. Yashar'al, oh Yashar'al. Time, we can say, is 60 seconds in a minute, 60 minutes in an hour, 24 hours in a day. That's debatable by some. But needless to say, the sun rises, the sun sets. Daylight comes and it goes, only to return again. Yashar'al, oh Yashar'al. There's so much that we can receive. Our ears are like a gate. Our eyes are as a gate. Our spirit is as a gate to receive and to deliver. But there's only so much time that we have. When movement comes, capacity is going to be a vital component. How many people can fit in a car, a bus, a truck, on a train or a plane? Movement will come. The seed will journey with or without you. Know this, my brothers and sisters. There are processes and details. It's time to begin to ask questions. It's time to get involved. It's time to begin the process of movement. And for those outside of the Western Hemisphere, there will be leaders that will pop up in your geographic area, used by the Spirit of the Almighty Father in Yahusha's name, that will direct you towards the promised land at the appointed times. As I mentioned over and over again, I believe I am charged with contributing to the leading of Yashar'al from the Western Hemisphere. And I believe that gathering will take place in the Commonwealth of Virginia. But capacity is something we must be mindful of. Have those discussions. Begin to look at what is necessary to press on and press forward. Yashar'al, oh Yashar'al, I cannot stress it enough the need to ask questions Who will be with you? Where will you be placed? Ask those questions and see if there's a stirring within inside, so strong that it compels you to move, so strong that it compels you to be convinced that you are to shelter in place and be the last voice from the voice of the Spirit of Yahuah for those who are passing by or who are also put in a position of set apartness. Yashar'al, O Yashar'al, the time is now to discern what the Spirit of Yahusha is saying. The time is now to discern the need for balance regarding journey of the seed. My brothers and sisters, what say you? By discerning the guidance from the voice of the Spirit of Yahuah sent in Yahusha's name, we will learn how to manage our curiosities and distraction. We will understand the life and importance of Proverbs 4:23 through 27. I mention it often. Proverbs 4:23 through 27. Remember, Yashar'al, there have been and there will be journeys of the seed. We are that end time generation. We must guard set apartness. We must know how to vet. We must know when to come away and when to purge. Yashar'al, Yashar'al, prepare for the final exodus. Collect the messages that I presented and examine them well. Collect and be able to discern the messages for the realities of movement with less than 3 years, my brothers and sisters. By the month known as December, in the year 2023, so much movement would have taken place, O Yashar'al. There will be no doubt that the final exodus is coming to its peak. Hear these words, O Yashar'al. The seed journeys, and it journeys among the people of Yahuah. My brothers and sisters, I know we like things quick. Some of you might say, oh, he could have said that. I got what he said in the first 5 minutes. Imagine a plant that needs water, and you put 2 ounces or a shot glass of water in that plant. How long do you think that plant can endure with just a shot glass of water? When one speak and reinforce what they say, when one repeat themselves, it's as a glass flowing more water and more water to reinforce what is said. You see, Yashar'al, all too often, what a person hear and they listen again, they get something else. Or they realize, I missed what he said, or I misunderstood what he said. We must learn the value of redundancy to a degree, but we must know when to step forward. We must know how to examine. Is there something new? Is there something that strengthens me? Is there something that contributes towards my pursuit of set apartness? Is there something happening with this encounter that draws me closer to the Almighty Father, that makes me a contributor to the journey of the seed? Yashar'al, Yashar'al, I salute your patience, your tolerance and endurance. I pray that this message brings to mind the need to be mindful of how we carry the seed of set apartness and demonstrate it before one another and before the world. Stay tuned, O Yashar'al. There is much more to come. Prepare to witness unity arise out of all the uncertainty, out of all the sickness, out of all the destruction, out of all of the stubbornness that is among us and the division that's among us. Unity will pierce through, and you and I, we will witness the coming together of a set-apart nation like we never imagined. If you'd like to provide support, visit Watchman.net. If you'd like to provide financial support, that financial support will contribute towards the gathering of Yashar'al in the Western Hemisphere. Yes, YouTube is free. It does not cost a thing. But I do pay for my shelter. I do pay for the internet. There are expenses occurred. Help me, O Yashar'al. Help me contribute towards the gathering of a set-apart nation. Help me to promote the messages that are necessary to strengthen us as we recognize that we are participants as it relates to Journey of the Seed. I have a cash tag below, White Rose Family. On that note, O Yashar'al, my prayer is that you are in good health. My prayer is that you're able to discern what is expected for you to carry the banner of the seed, for you to contribute to the journey of the seed. Take care of your family. Take care of you, my brothers and sisters. Identify Yashar'al who understand the true love that is necessary to preserve the seed, the true love that is necessary to contribute towards what is required to navigate during these uncertain times. For though I say uncertain times, the scriptures tell us what's ahead. When they are made alive, the Spirit of Yahusha identify what's ahead and what we should do. There's a lot of time spent on this is going to happen, that's going to happen. How many messages are you receiving on what you are to do today and going forward to discern the voice of the Spirit of Yahusha and act? Are you receiving those teachings? I invite your questions, your comments. I invite communication. I invite your fellowship. If you believe you are drawn by the Almighty Father Yahuah to Yahusha Mashyach. On that note, I say to you, much shalom, my brothers and sisters. And I end again by saying, Shalum.